Good afternoon, it's 3:30. I'd like to call a court and public safety meeting to order, please. Can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Derazinski?
Here.
Commissioner Engel?
Here.
Commissioner Hughes?
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Here.
Commissioner Nash?
Here.
Commissioner Sabo?
Here.
Commissioner Skolnick?
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Here.
Commissioner Cross?
Here. Next, could I get approval on the minutes of December 4th, 2012?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. This time there's time set aside for public comment on an agenda item. There really isn't any agenda items, but if there's anybody that'd like to talk, now's your time.
You're on.
Next, we got a presentation from the District Court Administrator on the Hall of Justice and Court Remodel.
Thank you. Nancy Hunter, District Court Administrator. Good afternoon, County Commissioners, Madam Administrator, County Clerk, Mr. Williams, and those in attendance. For a benefit of the new commissioners and the other ones that maybe have forgotten over this period of time what's been going on, I'm going to give a little bit of a history. The project was to renovate the first and second floors of the Hall of Justice building, and this started in approximately 2007. Tower Pinkster Titus was a designer and architect, and they're from Grand Rapids. In 2007, we realized, well, it was pretty evident that the district court had outgrown the space that we were in on the first and second floor. So in 2007, the Register of Deeds and the treasurer moved to South Campus to more permanent location there, upgraded offices. The county clerk's vital records was moved to a temporary location at South Campus, and several different divisions of the district court were moved to temporary locations. Accounting and our civil files were moved to the training center in the basement, another office. We moved probation, sobriety court, collections to, they call it Starks Hall, State Probation Building. And the county clerk's office was moved to a building over at South Campus as well, the vital records part. So in order to vacate the second floor, the renovation was to clear out the second floor first, rebuild that with the new courtrooms. There were 7 staff that were moved also from the second floor to the first floor, so we had to kind of squish people together on the first floor. We could not send all our support staff out because there's so many things, vital pieces. In critical pieces, we need the files here and several of the staff. So we were kind of scrunched a little bit on the first floor. Vacating the second floor took place around the end of 2009. Asbestos abatement and demolition started in the spring of 2010. The second floor was completed, and we moved all the judges and personnel from the first floor to the second floor about the end of 2011. Make sure I get my years right. Asbestos abatement and demolition on the first floor commenced in 2012, this year, the beginning of last year. The first floor is near completion at this point. They're finishing up punch list items, and we anticipate that should be finished hopefully this week. The open filing units were put out to bid for all the district court civil and criminal files. Those have all been installed on the first floor, and we today are loading civil files. We're bringing them from South Campus and loading them on the shelf, so there's progress. To give you an idea, the civil files alone that are coming from the basement of the training center building back to the first floor of Hall of Justice will take to fill and empty and take back and rotate about 1,100 banker boxes of files. So that's what the girls are doing for most of today, tomorrow, and however long it takes, but I anticipate that piece will be done this week. We will also be moving the criminal files from the second floor to the first floor so we can start moving the criminal pieces in. Furniture has been ordered for the first floor, and this is also speaking to the county clerk's office as well, that will be housed permanently on the first floor, and that's a vital record piece of the county clerk. All the furniture, including hers, has been ordered for the first floor. It is scheduled to start installation of the furniture on January 17th, with completion of the furniture install on the first floor only by January 31st. And of course, everything's subject to change, I found out. Then we anticipate moving staff back from the south campus by divisions, because our move will take a little bit longer because we can't just close court and as much as I'd like to. We can for short periods of time, but if you're talking a day, we have to get approval from the Supreme Court, we have to clear our dockets, there's just a lot. So we're going to try to move just in sections. I anticipate the first move will be probation, which is 7 staff coming from South Campus to the first floor. 3, and then the next move would be 3 sobriety court staff and 3 collection staff coming from South Campus to the first floor. Accounting staff will move. We have 2 accounting staff, and they're going to move when the second floor is shuffled around. Then we need to proceed to move staff from the second floor to the first floor, and we'll do that by divisions. We'll move traffic, which is 4 staff, criminal, which is 7 staff, the dispo team, which is 7 staff, the 2 magistrates will move to the first floor, 8 civil staff will move to the first floor, and the deputy administrator will move to the first floor. All those 29 staff, that's 29 extra staff on the second floor currently for this year. So if you go upstairs and I open a maintenance closet, there is a clerk in there. So if you haven't had the opportunity to see the humor in this project, I'll show you around. Next we'll be moving staff, equipment, and furniture on the second floor around to make room for accounting to come back to the Hall of Justice. I anticipate the district court will complete the move by the end of February. Again, because we have to work evenings and weekends and work around the court's docket. We can't do a lot of moving when the court is in session. If anybody's familiar, the halls are pretty well filled up with people, and it's hard to move furniture. Other items in progress on the first floor that we're looking at finishing up and we're trying to get in place before the complete move to the first floor are the window blinds, the signage, the hallway seating, and other stuff like that. I just finished up the technology. This is a bid that started several years ago. We have upgraded the technology in all the 4 courtrooms that was part of this whole project. We can do video arraignments in all 4 courtrooms on the second floor and the small court magistrate's courtroom on the first floor. So that is an upgrade. I can tell you that technology bill, we're just finishing up the last of the invoices. Looks like it'll come in about $10,000 under budget. See? And it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the county clerk's office anticipates moving in February as well. Any questions? That's kind of it, short and sweet.
If I may, the immense amount of records we have, and I know we spend a lot of money, and I'm not sure in the storage and the maintenance of these records, and we've spent quite a bit on technology, which we needed to do, and I think we still need to spend more. Is there some way, are we slowly eliminating that need to be storing the vast amount of paper that we're storing on and off site? Am I making any sense?
Yes, you're making a lot of sense, and it's a very good question. I think as you see the Supreme Court sit up and take notice, and this is a problem with storage for every court, but there are several records, especially circuit court, probate court, we by statute have to hold these records for their lifetime. So they're allowing us to put a copy on some type of electronic device, but we still need the paper copy. Even if you go to what you consider a paperless court, the judges, some judges, I know Ottawa County there's a judge there that's really big on this. They do have a computer, they scan a lot of items in. It does speed with the process of the file, and the judge will sit there and view the file on his computer and do the work from the computer, but technically we still have to have that paper file until the Supreme Court says, okay, you don't need to save it. The district court's record destruction schedule is a little more lenient than circuit and probate, I think, because circuit and probate, you have things that go on and on and on for a much longer period of time. But the district court, we have to keep every criminal case 10 years after last action. So even if there was a plea or a sentence, let's say in the year 2000, and then they're not paying fines and costs, so we're doing collection methods in 2005, we still have to, that's the last action, keep it up to that. General civil landlord tenant cases, we have to keep 10 years after last action, except for garnishments, but a judgment is good for 10 years in criminal and landlord tenant. But the judgment can be renewed for another 10 years and another 10 years. So we may end up holding that file for 30, 40 years. Small claims, they give us a little bit of reprieve. We only have to keep those 6 years after judgment or last action. So tickets are depending on what ticket you're talking about. So we do have to do that. We do have a space in the Starks Hall in the basement where we do not have the space to keep the files here. We're keeping as many files here as we can because it speeds processing of finding if somebody wants a judgment on something that was done, or somebody wants to clear their record, or they pled to something when they were 21 years old, open alcohol, and they want to take that off the record, then we have to have that file to generate the paperwork that was done there so they can file the motion to set aside that conviction. So that's just one example.
Well, you got my permission to throw my records out.
Let me make a note of that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sable?
When will the floor be opened up to the public? Is it gonna be at the very end, once everybody is completely moved in, or?
It may be open before everybody has moved in. It's critical because if the county clerk gets moved in and we're not done, we have to open up the hallways so she can service the customers. So it's gonna be, I really can't give you a date until, they move in. If we move in first, we don't want to, if I get moved in first, for me to open up all hallways, that might not be conducive to her moving, because to move furniture and files and boxes, the traffic through there is just ridiculous. So we're gonna open it as soon as we can, as soon as people are moved down where they will be servicing the public.
That's the reason for not opening it now, is because
Yes.
of the
Yes.
traffic.
The hallway seating is ordered and it's in storage at Lakeshore. I asked not to have that brought over until we get, some of this moving stuff in. I mean, it doesn't make sense to bring these massive pieces of furniture and, 1,200 boxes in and out, and so it just makes it a lot easier to use that Terrace Street door and bring the stuff in and not have that seating in the way, and then, they won't get harmed, so.
I have a quick, will all the new IT technology be in the offices when everybody gets moved over?
The VDI system, that was the original plan, but I think, and Heath can elaborate on this, but there was in my opinion, a little hiccup with ours, and we chose to, it still may happen, but right now we're looking at just moving first. It's a little difficult right now. If he was to say, okay, VDI, we're ready to roll out district court, and I understand he is rolling out of the departments right now, but I chose to say, let's put us toward the end, because for my staff to get moved, get into a new location, get the flow of the files and everything going, and learn the VDI system, which is some mandatory training on, and to learn that new computer, it just really is a lot to ask of the employees. I know they would do it, but.
And I was thinking too of the clerk's office with all of the documents and things that people come in and ask for all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If that technology was gonna be up and running so that people could get it as soon as the office was opened on the first floor.
If you're talking the technology piece of the scanning, the ECM project, that realistically will probably not be rolled out for a couple of years anyways, because it's a slow process to do it right, to find the proper vendor, to write the pieces so that all these different departments can talk to each other and share this information. That's critical, and we don't want to rush into that.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda is items for consideration. We don't have any, so is there any old business? Any new business? Public comment on a new topic. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Adjourn.